I think we should cover what has happened recently in a group. Now, this is going to... Okay, before we do this...
yes.
No, let me set it up.
Oh, fuck me. I've been catching up today. I'm obsessed.
Let me set it up.
I'm obsessed. Okay, go.
So this is going to be very inside baseball, okay? But if you
so deep,
I promise you, if you stick with me through this is a fascinating story. It's going to be like the time you first learned to touch yourself when your parents leave you alone.
And they come back
and catch you and want to do it. No, what were you going to say?
That's what I was going
there's a comedian in the UK. I think he lives in London, or maybe he lives in Edinburgh. I don't know. He, I would describe this guy as meek. Definitely on the spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
And like, who isn't? So no judgment.
Yep.
And he, I guess, shot up very quickly on this group called the Comedy Collective on Facebook. And became an admin of this group. And slowly started promoting a podcast that he runs called Ask the Industry Podcast, which just interviews people in the UK who are in the comedy industry. But then he doesn't let anybody in the group post anything self-promoting or anything like that, but he constantly promotes himself. And it's always these little passive pats on the back and nudges to himself forward.
It's a big group, we should clarify. 14,000.
It's a big group, 14,000 people in the UK comedy world. His name's Simon Caine. Google it. PandaRiot.com. Shout out. But as an admin, he has gone on one of the craziest white knighting SJW rants. He's one of these people, like, anytime a woman posts anything, he's the first one. They're like, I just want to say, first of all, I deeply feel for your story and your pain, and I am so sorry that this happened to you. On behalf of all men, I find it disgusting that, just this kind of like fucking simp.
I didn't understand it.
It's like, it's so weird.
I'm crying even thinking about it. Oh my God.
Like that kind of stuff.
How could they do this?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And he then like goes after anybody who gets any kind of accusation against them. So like, also he's just fucking narcissistic and crazy about
I feel like it
things
wasn't even like accusations. It was like anything.
Stuck in New Zealand, like kind of like when it was shutting down, and he was also like getting Airbnbs at festivals, and he wrote tomes about the problems of this Airbnb and this crazy woman in his Airbnb and how Airbnb customer service wouldn't help him and how she heard him eating candy bars in the night. Like, it's crazy shit. Like, and I don't comment on anything on Facebook. I'm in that group, but I don't write posts and I don't fucking participate in it because everything on the internet is forever. And you won't find me joining in lowbrow horse shit like that. Although I'm about ready to start burning it down and I might start doing just weird trolling on there. Who fucking knows? The night is young.
I look forward to it. Yeah. Tonight. Fuck. Happy 4th of July, motherfuckers.
You did call Chris out for eating Jolly Ranchers in the night. That's a good point. So what? It's not a good point, Moody. Please don't talk in my fucking channel ever again. What happened was, he wanted to take. So I guess there are a lot of comics right now who are coming forward who may not have any big skeletons in the closet and horrible shit they've done. Probably George and myself even, and they'll play this show on the news when we get caught.
Speak for yourself, bro.
What are you talking about?
I can't believe the
I
pain
know
that women have gone
for
through.
A fact.
It just hurts me.
Well, I know a Colombian circus girl who would argue.
Hey, that was fine. Okay.
Wow. The more you say right now, the worse.
Hey, she can't say no in the English language. I'm going to stop with that.
The more you say right now, the worse You are gonna look.
She loved it. All right.
Fucking hell.
That was just banter. We're just having a good time.
Yeah,
you know?
that's what they call it.
Patrick, let me tell you a little thing about women.
We got him.
But yeah, no, so,
No, I'm kidding. Listen. So he was one of these guys.
Too much.
So I guess there's a lot of guys coming out who may not have big things that are gonna like ruin their life, but they know they've done some weird fucked up shit. So they're coming out and they're saying things like, "Hey, I just want to say that while I've always considered myself to be a good person and totally respect women, I realize there's some times in my past when I've definitely treated women not as good as I should have and used them just to get sex and for my own pleasure. I'm really sorry for ever doing that and taking advantage of you and objectifying." Like, there's a lot of guys doing this kind of a post, which is
out of nowhere.
Weird.
That's so weird.
Weird, pre-defense game. Heavy, weird shit.
That's so weird.
So Simon wanted to screenshot every guy, every comic who had one of these posts. And he started a website where he was going to keep track of every comic who did something or apologized for something or who had any kind of allegation for posterity. So nobody could ever take it down, and there would always be his archive of creeps who he deemed bad people. And there's a psychological, theory behind this, that people like him, who aren't the worst people in the world, do this kind of behavior because they want people they want people to see that they're a good person, but that more importantly they want to feel themselves that they're a good person because other people are doing worse shit. And by bringing that to the forefront and shedding light on that.
Oh, you reckon that?
Yeah, by bringing that to the front, shedding light on that. You know what I mean? Now,
yeah, it's like I just punched the guy. That dude broke his arm. I'm fine.
Self-soothing in a way, right? Because I'm nowhere near this bad. Yes, I've talked inappropriately to women and I've done some fucked up shit, but I've never done this to a woman. So all these women start coming crazy, and I think one of the problems with this guy is he is awkward. He is. I do think he's somewhat autistic or Aspergery or something on the spectrum.
He was weird to talk to.
He's got a lisp, which doesn't help. You pile on the afflictions and we all just bail. But, it's a hard swipe left from everyone. So I think he rubs people creepily and he doesn't have the social skills. Even online, he comes across as manic and crazy. His Edinburgh show is called Every Room's a Panic Room when you overthink it or something like that. Mm. And so, as this fucking crazy dictator of this group for so long, and rubbing people the wrong way, and screenshotting them, and throwing them up, and any kind of joke, people are making jokes about, hey, what do you think about this, Chris? What do you think about all the comics fucking underage girls? And somebody wrote not happening nearly enough for my taste. And he screenshots them and posts them up and then bans them from the group and overreaction. It's like a comics group with 14,000 comedians there. Most of who are open mic, nonsense comics who are just trying to get people to like them. Literally 3 likes on their joke will make them feel so much better about their existence. And so they're going to make dumb, inappropriate jokes and not really read the room and be a little tone deaf. But that's no reason in a comedy fucking form. He wanted it all business. So everybody just built up this hate for him for all these years. And now that this is happening to him.
It was even the podcast thing. He would have that posted and people would be like, oh, why can you promote your podcast and we can't? And he would delete the comments.
Yeah, nobody could post anything that happened against him, and I think that's a reaction when you're new on the internet. God knows I've been through several phases of that where you go on the internet and you kind of realize the more you fight any of this shit, you know what I mean? You can only control what you can control. And the more you fight any of this shit, the worse it's going to look going forward. Because then he posted some posts, which is banana nut bread. I don't even, what was the thing? So this right before this happened, literally 2 days before this happened, where he's getting 7 accusations now, apparently from a girl, allegedly. He was running for the comics representation for a union of comics in the UK because the last guy got ousted for having inappropriate relationships with a younger woman. So he nominated himself for this position and asked people to vote for him. Other people were nominating female comics with more qualifications. He was nominating himself and promoting that through the group because of his ability to do that and nobody else's ability to do that. Then he steps down right before all this comes out. Like, hey, I want to nominate these 2 women who I understand are running. I'm stepping back. And it's like, because he knew this was all about to come out about him, I guess. And these 2 women came out and said, why are you endorsing us? We're not even running, and we've never talked to you or interacted with you. We don't even know you. Why are you talking about 2 black women you're recommending for this position? You don't know.
He was just going for the most woke angle. 2 black women. Think how objectifying that is to them as people. Just picking 2 black women, like, I nominate these 2. Like, it's just all about you. You don't give a fuck about them.
So then he goes, as so many of these people do, which is just like, there's no way this. The thing is, none of this shit ever claps back as hard as you think it's going to in your head. He writes this long post on July 3rd. There are 4 issues I'd like to address. Also, another sign of a great, he's thought this out. He's done several revisions. This was copy and pasted, not composed in the browser. A comedian has made an allegation that I behaved inappropriately towards their friend. Without naming the person, I strongly refute these allegations. These claims are hearsay and untrue. I am taking legal advice on what my next steps are on these posts. Edit, just to clarify, I'm not refuting anyone's feelings. So what a fucking juxtaposition we're seeing now between his SJW white knight tendencies and his stupid fucking self-programmed brain telling him like everybody's truth is valid and everybody's experiences matter and don't invalidate anybody's whatever. And he's over here going like, you know what you did.
Yeah, it's so good. That's what made it so glorious. Oh.
What I am refuting is everything else in the allegation. On Twitter, it was alleged that I was outed for being a sex pest. In quotes. And this message has been retweeted dozens of times. The claim is categorically untrue. The tweet is libelous since it is not true, and I request that anybody who shared the post delete it. That works well. That always works well when you tell the internet a bad strategy to get rid of something. That always works out. Yeah. Nobody just starts making backups. I know 6 people in the chat room right now who, if once they find this out, they're going to screenshot this fucking post because this will come down soon. Number 3, I've reflected on the comments made about my moderation of the Comedy Collective, and I know that screenshotting apology tweets from male comedians and sharing them in an album was a bad idea. I'm sorry for the hypocrisy of shaming people for ruining jokes in what I judged were bad taste, when I too have made jokes on stage in the past that somebody would think were wrong and were ill-judged. I never intended to become judge and jury, and I regret how this appeared to others. I've stepped down as admin of this group, which I imagine he did because I think he was like the owner admin.
Yeah, he had all control, so it must have been. He must have gone to the point where it's like he had no choice. I
rescinded my candidacy as a committee member of the LCA, which is that comedy union. And I learned the names of 4 candidates that were considering running, and I judged that I wouldn't be the best candidate. I decided to use this platform I have on Facebook to show support to 2 of those individuals who I thought were running, since I thought they were the best qualified candidates for the job, and the remaining candidates I was aware of in the highlight and necessarily not agree my support in any candidate. I'm deeply sorry that I've upset them by doing this. I'll be taking some time offline to take advice on next steps. This is over for this guy. Am I wrong? You'll never see this guy at another Australian festival. You'll never see this guy at another Edinburgh. He's made a living out of comedy industry podcasts and blogs and tutorials. He does this open book thing for his Edinburgh shows where he shows how many tickets he sells every day and how much he's making. You know, it's like, what the fuck?
He's finished. That's why I was like,
you think he doesn't come back from this?
I don't think he can come. Like, as in, you can, if you're the kind of comedian that, look, if you're angling towards, there's certain comedians can get away with this shit, but if you're doing the white knight, I'm woke and all that stuff, and then you get done for this, it's like, who's on your side now? Yeah,
in a way, I feel bad for him because I can't imagine this guy doing anything really, truly bad, being creepy. And everybody's in the comments of this post just calling him a sex pest again. It's not going well. Like, it's
oh man.
And he's deleting comments left. Every time I check back, there's less comments than there were before, so he's deleting comments. People are finally like, "Can I suggest deleting this post?" I don't know you, but everyone who has made these kinds of posts in the past few years ends up amplifying claims against them, true or not. Yeah,
it's so funny. It's so funny.
He said, somebody said, have all the comments been deleted due to possible libel?
It's fucking hilarious. I love it. It's been a delight to watch during these times.
I feel bad because because this is the road we're going down where it's just a Gotham culture and we're going to get everybody. And it's like, who the fuck even wants to do this anymore? But yeah, and you guys, I think are a little behind us on it, but it's catching up.
No, Melbourne's pretty intense with that.
And you guys are right. I mean, Melbourne's a really, really,
was
liberal,
very liberal here. You can't say anything, but even here, there's still that space of a little bit of people saying different things as well, but not that much. Yeah, look, I think I'm with you. I definitely agree that you've got to give the benefit of the doubt. You've got to give space, and being creepy or awkward or weird is a comedian. So that side of things can be misread. The issue was the white knight, like, hypocrisy of it. That's the only part that makes it
obviously makes it so much fucking worse. But what can you do?
Yeah, well, it's like the audacity, like, because it's just like you the nerve. You thought you were so much better than everyone. Like, that's what you're tearing apart there. It's not actually got anything to do with the specific claims.
And somebody pointed out, like, if this happened to somebody else, like, he'd be the first one going, like, ruin them. They never going to do anything again.
Yeah, hang them.
I love the always
with the rock.
I love the taking time off. I'm going to take some time to listen now.
Man, he's fucked. And when I saw it, I was like, mate, he is like, who's going to be on it? Think about he asks guests to be on his podcast and they're like, who's this guy? And they're like, whoa, shit. No, I don't need this.
Well, I do think, oh my God, what was that one? What just exploded? Thank you for the cheer, baby. I sound like oh fuck, what's happening? We're having a fucking Gotham-gasm. Oh, you got to be watching it to see. It's fucking crazy. Hot shit! That's nuts. All right. So please stop donating money. We hate it here.
Yeah.